This morning, the federal government says rapper Pooh Shiesty is simply too dangerous to be out on bond. The rapper's real name is Lontrell Williams Jr. He is asking to be released on bond ahead of his trial. And you may remember he and 8 other men, including his father, are accused in the January robbing and kidnapping of his record label owner, Gucci Mane. The other defendants, including Shiesty's father and rapper Big 30, they're already out on bond, but here's this new filing. Prosecutors argue Shiesty should not be allowed out under any circumstances. They say no condition of release can protect the community or witnesses against Williams Jr. from the danger he poses. It goes on to say the danger here is concrete. Williams Jr. himself has shot at least 2 people. He leads a Memphis street gang of about 100 members. Excuse me. They say he's a man who could summon an armed entourage at will. And they contend he did just that in Dallas in January. We'll let you know what the judge decides. The trial is set for February.
The feds is saying Pooh Shiesty is too shiesty to be released. New paperwork shows Gucci Mane made more statements, and I'm going to give y'all the full update in under a minute. The feds now have the biggest piece of evidence, which is the video Big 30 took of Gucci signing the contract releasing Pooh Shiesty. That's the contract in the hands of Shiesty's dad. That's one of Shiesty's shooters with a Draco. Gucci's in the yellow and Pooh is in the corner. Now, Mr. Pooh is saying this whole case is coming from Gucci Mane's statements, and they're saying he publicly recanted it. But the feds are like, no, he didn't. Not only did Gucci drop a song saying y'all did it, but they interviewed Gucci and all the 5 cooperating witnesses again, and they all remain consistent saying y'all did it. Not only that, the feds are saying Pooh Shiesty previously shot 2 people. He's the leader of Chopper Gang, which has over 100 members that are all Grape Street Crips in Memphis. And this case is not looking good. We thought they didn't have evidence. Apparently they have it all.
When people hear that someone with money is denied bail, they often ask, why not just let them post bond? But in many serious federal cases, bail isn't simply about how much money a defendant has. A judge's primary responsibility is to determine whether the person is likely to appear in court and whether releasing them would create a danger to the community or interfere with the judicial process. In Pooh Shiesty's case, prosecutors argued that the allegations were extremely serious and that no release conditions would adequately address the risks they believed existed. According to court reporting, the judge also considered his criminal history and the nature of the charges before deciding that he should remain in custody pending trial. His attorney has disputed the government's allegations and challenged the strength of the evidence. That brings up an important point about why judges sometimes deny bail altogether. It's not necessarily because someone has money. It's because the court may conclude there is a significant risk that the defendant could fail to appear, commit additional crimes, or attempt to interfere with the legal process. Federal judges are required to weigh those factors before granting release. Money can also affect the court's analysis in a different way. A wealthy defendant may have greater resources to travel, relocate, or otherwise avoid prosecution, and judges can consider that when evaluating flight risk. The court may also look at whether the person has previously complied with court orders or conditions of release. Those are all legitimate legal considerations. Another concern courts sometimes evaluate is the possibility of witness intimidation or obstruction of justice. That does not mean a judge assumes a defendant will threaten witnesses. Instead, the judge looks at whether the evidence suggests there is a realistic risk that witnesses could be pressured, influenced, or discouraged from participating in the case if the defendant is released. If prosecutors convince the court that this risk cannot be managed through conditions such as electronic monitoring or no-contact orders, the judge may deny bail. It's also worth understanding that jumping bail, failing to return to court after being released, is a separate criminal offense. Someone who does that can face additional charges, lose any bond that was posted, and make their legal situation significantly worse. Courts know that possibility exists in every case, which is why they carefully assess whether a defendant is likely to appear before granting release. The broader lesson is that bail is not intended to be a reward or a punishment. It's a legal decision based on public safety, the integrity of the court process, and the likelihood that the defendant will return to court as required. Every defendant is presumed innocent unless proven guilty, but the court can still order pretrial detention if it determines that no combination of release conditions is sufficient to address those concerns. As this case moves forward, the ultimate question of guilt or innocence will be decided in court based on the evidence presented, not on the bail decision itself. A denial of bail is not a conviction, it is a pretrial ruling about whether someone should remain in custody while awaiting trial.